Hey everybody, how are ya? So I'm taking a moment. I want to do this video. Kind of cute, kind of cool, kind of weird, kind of wonderful, kind of wacky, but always um, an opportunity to see how connections can be made in the weirdest, wildest ways, and that there's always something to them. Right? There's no coincidences. I really don't believe there's any coincidences. So many years ago, my son came home from school. My oldest son came home from school, and he said, "Mom, I'm going to blow your mind." And I said, "Well, that's not easy to do because, of course, of who I am and what I can do, it's not easy to blow my mind. I see a lot of stuff." But anyway, he says, "I want you to have a look at this book." And I looked at it and I was like, "Do I have to? Really? Do I have to?" He said, "Yeah, you do. Look on page 23." That's what he said to me, 23. So I opened up page 23 and I was like, mind blown. Like totally blown. Totally blown. Because of this picture. This picture. Let me read about this picture to you. All right. One day in fourth grade, I brought in a picture that Grandma Wire had taken on an airplane flight from West Virginia to Ohio. And in the photo, there appeared to be an angel in the clouds. It was one of my favorite possessions, and I was excited to share it with my teachers because I still believed everything they taught me about heaven, and I wanted to show them that my grandmother had seen it. But they said it was a hoax, scolded me, and sent me home for being blasphemous. It was my most honest attempt to fit in with their idea of Christianity, to prove my connection with their beliefs, and I was punished for it. It confirmed what I had already known from the beginning, that I wouldn't be saved like everybody else. I knew it every day when I left for school, trembling with fear that the world would end. I wouldn't go to heaven, and I'd never see my parents again. Those are pretty strong thoughts for someone in fourth grade. What are you in fourth grade? Like 11? It's pretty powerful. What's interesting is that I have that picture. It's been in my family since 1976. When my aunt was given this picture, and it's negative, by the person apparently who took this picture. This person was coming home from what I understand, according to the story we have with this picture of my family, coming home from a Catherine Coleman ministry where she received a healing. And the woman had some sort of stomach cancer of some kind and was healed at that time in that ministry. And when she came home on the airplane, she had one picture left on her roll of film to use. Looked outside, said to her husband, "Look at the clouds, how pretty they look. I'm going to take this last picture of them." You know? And when she had the film developed, that's the picture that came out. That's the picture. Now, this picture turned this man anti-Christian because of somebody's opinion about it. I have an opinion about this picture too. My mother did, and all of my family have, since 1976, believed that this picture was offered to us all as a way to affirm and perhaps uplift people, not to cause them grief or pain or any of that stuff, but to affirm for everyone that, we are being watched over. You know, when my mother was passing, February 1st, 2015, actually, I got a call from Kingston General Hospital that my mother was there and she was probably not coming out. And February 2nd, I was actually planning on heading down to Toronto with this book and this picture to talk to Marilyn Manson, who was actually scheduled to have a concert that night. But I couldn't go because I was in Kingston with my mom. Now, my mom, God bless her, has held on to this picture, had held on to this picture for the 30 years, if not 40 years rather, that we had it. It was in her care. She took, incredible pride in, developing absolute joy in developing the pictures and the prints and negatives and whatnot, and giving them to people free. She just didn't. She never wanted any money for for the copies or any of that stuff. She just gave it to everybody, and that was her thing. She always thought she wanted to just give it to everybody. So she was very meticulous about, her intentions with that, and that it was meant to be shared, not and gifted to people, because it was gifted to us and given to us, and we were, offered the opportunity to share in the joy of seeing this picture and having it in our possession. So my mother always gave it to everybody and didn't want anybody making any money from it. So, when I talked about maybe blowing it up into a big meditation poster or whatever, because I thought it would be a really great idea, she got upset about that. So one of the things I thought was interesting, though, was that back in the day, before she was moving out to Kingston from Scarborough, I came across a letter that I had always heard about, very much like the Yeti. It was this sort of, family myth, legend, whatever, that we had never really had come upon again once the first or second sighting had happened. But it was a letter actually from Kodak that was authenticating this picture rather, the picture, saying that they had no explanation for how this came to be, but the negative was authentic. It had not been, manipulated in any way, and that they were giving their absolute validation to it. Now, my mother hid that letter, of course, because she didn't want me to find it ever. She did a really good job, because I'm still looking 7 years later in all of her stuff, which is what prompted me to bring it all home. But I found, I don't even know how many, countless, prints of this picture, countless copies of the negatives, right? Negatives of the negatives even. And that's the key. That's the point, right? Is that I'm not sure which ones are which, and I don't know where that actual letter went to. I'm still looking for it. I don't even care if I find it ever, now, because things are the way they are right now. It doesn't even matter at this point. But I do think it's a rather interesting connection that I, of all people, have with someone like this. Fascinating, I must say. That's Marilyn Manson and Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey was the founder of the Church of Satan. I gotta tell you, folks, God works in mysterious ways. And I have faith that there's a reason that this picture has found its way into my family, so that maybe I can help redeem it a little bit. I don't really know. And I don't really know if I'll ever have a chance to talk to him about it, but wouldn't it be interesting if? Wouldn't it be? Anyway, what do you think about this picture? Who do you think that is? What do you see in there? The only reason, I think a lot of people might say it's Jesus is because of the way they're standing, but others have said other names, other people. Some people say that you can actually see the holes in the hands from where he was crucified. This is my original picture from 1976. My mother wrote on the back that says, "This picture belongs to Brenda Jean Thine." That's me. And I wrote my name on it in my beautiful handwriting at age 5, 5 or 6. There I am. That's me. That's how far back this picture goes in my family. And clearly it goes back a long way in his too. So however this is going to play out, I think it's really weird, wonderful, wild, and wacky. And always extraordinarily divine. You never know. 6 degrees of separation? I don't know. Anyway, that's what me and Marilyn Manson have in common. Whoever would have thunk it. Cool, huh? God bless. Bye now.